Hello students, welcome to Shourabh Sir's classes. So in today's video, we'll solve two questions from economics. One is from microeconomics, another is from macroeconomics. So first we'll start with question number 8. So in question number 8, it is given the equilibrium in a market is incomplete with increasing returns to scale in case of imperfectly competitive market, monopolistic market, perfectly competitive market, and none of the above. So we know the equilibrium in a market is incomplete with increasing returns to scale only in case of perfectly competitive market, because in perfect competitive market the market equilibrium in market is complete with constant returns to scale. So we would conclude option C is the right answer for question number 8. So for question number, so we have to remember that is the equilibrium in a market is incomplete with increasing returns to scale only in case of perfectly competitive market. So now I'll draw suppose, so I'll write down the equilibrium. So in perfectly competitive market, the firm is a price taker. So P is equals to MR equals to AR, and MC cuts MR from below. So this is the equilibrium level. Now you know in perfect competition AC must be tangential to this to get our normal profit. So in case of increasing returns to scale, this assumption of normal profit does not hold in long run. So we would conclude in a equilibrium in a market is incomplete with increasing returns to scale only in case of perfect competitive market. So increasing returns to scale basically means what? For this we need to understand what is increasing returns to scale. Now first we need to know Y, which is the output, depends on capital and labor. Now in long run both of them can be increased, so both of them are variable in the long run. So this is why we call it this change in scale, whether in short run we call it the change in factor. So in long run it will be change in scale, that is the proportional change in capital and labor both. So the very moment we say that is the change in scale, we have to understand it is a long run phenomena. So now it is given K and L. So when, say for an example, when K and L changes, so due to the assumption of increasing returns to scale, the return will be higher than the cost. So the return will be higher than the cost. So when return will be higher than the cost, we'll keep on producing more output. Now for an example, in this case, given this price line, so now we know increasing returns to scale basically means if you keep on increasing the quantity, the cost will be increasing but will be falling. That is marginal cost. As long as marginal cost falls, we say that is the revenue is more than cost, so we call it increasing returns to scale. So you can see from here marginal cost is falling and the price line, that is at this level P into Q, which is revenue, is more than the marginal cost. So the very moment marginal cost becomes equals to the revenue, we call it an equilibrium. Now increasing returns to scale basically talks about this area when revenue is more than cost. So we would consider when in case of CRS where marginal cost is equals to marginal revenue, we say the perfect competitive market has attained equilibrium. So now we'll get back to the question again. So in question 4 options are given. So equilibrium in a market is incomplete with increasing returns to scale only in case of perfectly competitive market. So for question number 8, the right answer is option C. Now in this video we'll solve another question, that is question number 9. So in question number 9 it is given involuntary unemployment given as number 1. Number 2 is equals to disguised unemployment. Number 3 is equals to frictional unemployment. And number 4 is equals to structural unemployment. Then full employment is consistent with 4 options are given. So full employment is consistent with 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 2 and 3, 1 or 4. First we need to understand what is involuntary unemployment. Involuntary unemployment is basically the phenomena where the workers are willing to work but they do not have enough job in the market to work. So they are willing to work but they are not voluntarily unemployment, but involuntarily, that is they are not getting the job. Now disguised unemployment, I'll come to it later, but for the time being just focused on these two, that is frictional unemployment and structural unemployment. Frictional unemployment is due to the lack of information in the job market. That is, when one labor leaves one job, say one worker leaves one job and joins another, the difference, the gap between these two jobs where the labor is basically not employed, we call it frictional unemployment. And structural unemployment is due to the structural basis, some people gets unemployed, we call it structural unemployed. Now we know with full employment is consistent with frictional and structural unemployment. That is question number option 3 and 4. So we have to remember full employment is consistent with frictional and structural unemployment. So in today's video we solved two questions, one from perfect competition and another that of unemployment, full employment, full employment, how it is compatible with frictional and structural unemployment. So in the subsequent video we'll solve other question from same paper. So keep watching. If you have any query or doubt, you can simply WhatsApp me on this number, which is 9836793076, or you can also go to our website, which is www.shouravsirsclasses.com. There you will find a lot of other videos like this, and you will get a lot of other materials which are needed for different entrance exam on economics. So thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day ahead.